now you're sitting across the table from John and Sue, and they're about to sell their house, and they ask you the question of commission. Or better yet, they say to you, would you do it for less? I've gotten it quite a bit, and I don't waver on it. So here's the way I answer this question. John and Sue, would you agree that if I came in here and I just lowered my commission right away, that I'm probably not a very good negotiator? Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. My name's Nicolle, and listen, if you're new here, I'm a real estate agent here in Canada where we dedicate this channel to helping you earn more, gain leverage in your business, and get back to enjoying your life so that you can just go crush it in everything that you're doing. Let's jump into today's video. Imagine $1 million for a second, and then minus your income from that amount. And the difference there is the cost of you not knowing how to say the right thing at the right time. And in today's video, I'm gonna break down exactly how you can respond to a couple of the most common objections that you need to know the answers to. So here's the 3 things that we're gonna do for every objection before we even start looking at objections. The 3 things we're gonna do is we're gonna encourage people, we're gonna repeat back to them what we heard, and we're gonna gain clarity. The reason these are the 3 things that we wanna do is that it's gonna disarm people, it's gonna allow them to be unguarded and realize that we're not trying to sell them anything. We just wanna understand what their situation is because we might have an answer that would be useful to them, and that's all we're trying to do is provide value. So here's an example of an objection we hear all the time as real estate agents. Objection number 1 is the I'm not that interested, I'm just browsing, or I'm not that motivated. I always start this objection the same way is by saying, hey, that's awesome. I totally get that you're just kind of casually browsing. Is there anything you were casually looking for today? I'm gonna repeat all that stuff back to them, and then they're gonna say something like, well, we were kind of looking for X. And I'll say, awesome, that's great. Would you be open to me sending you properties that kind of match that thing you're casually looking for? So all I'm trying to do here is make sure that I lower their guard. I'm encouraging them every time by telling me the response they gave me was perfect, great, excellent. And then I'm gonna make sure that I heard them, clarified it, and then delivered that final thing of like, would this be helpful? Or what is it you were just casually looking for? We're trying to just gain clarity. The second objection I'll hear all the time is, oh, we're not planning on moving for a few years. So now they've told me there's a little bit of motivation in a few years. Guess what I need to ask them? Awesome, great to hear that you're moving in a few years. What's happening then? I'm just trying to clarify again, what's happening in a few years that would cause you to move? And then I'm gonna use that clarity to again say, that's awesome. It sounds like this is the reason why you guys are thinking about moving. The kids are going away to school, XYZ's happening. Now I can even have a conversation about those details. If they tell me their kid's moving away, I'm like, that's so cool. What school are they going to? Why are they moving away? What's the opportunity? Now I can start to engage a conversation and show that I'm interested in that person. And everybody wants to talk about themselves and they want to have conversations with friends. So that's where I'm trying to get to. Now, let's say someone tells me they're moving in a few years because their kid's going off to school and they're gonna be empty nesters. Then I would say something like, that's so great to hear that you're planning on moving in a few years because your kids are gonna go off and do this amazing thing. Hey, would it be helpful if I set up a search now for you so we could just kind of casually monitor the market together? Again, really low pressure, asking them if they'd be open, and I'm providing them value, which is, here's the value that I can provide. Or maybe they turn around and say, yeah, you know, we're thinking about selling, but we're not really sure what our house is worth, XYZ. I'm gonna say, that's awesome. Sounds like you're really just kind of at the early stages, you're casually browsing, not really sure what the best thing to do is yet or what your place is worth. Would it be helpful if I came by and gave you a little bit of a better idea of what your place might actually be worth? Again, we're just doing the same thing over and over again, using that E.H.C methodology of making sure that they feel safe to have the conversation with us, and then we're able to move the needle forward. The next objection that we get all the time is, I already have somebody that I'm working with. And I would say to that, that's awesome. I'm so happy you already have somebody that you're working with that you trust. What's their name? By asking them what's their name, I'm gonna challenge them a little bit to make sure that it's real, because some people don't necessarily have somebody that they're truly working with, and it's just a good way for them to kind of get out of the conversation. So here they might get stumped, they might just tell me a name, and I would say, that's awesome that you're working with Adam. Adam sounds like he's obviously a great guy if he's won your guys' business. How's it been going so far? Now I'm asking another question. How's that process going? And I'm each time reminding them that it's all good, they've got somebody. I just wanna make sure they're getting enough value. And if they tell me, oh, things have been really great with Adam, you know, he's working with us on XYZ, I'd be like, that's perfect. Sounds like you got someone you're happy with. But what'll often happen is some people might say something to me like, yeah, you know, it's going all right. We're just like, you know, still kind of trying to figure out what the next decision is and whatever else. And at that point, I might unravel that a little bit more. Now, at any point, if someone's like, hey, this is our agent and we've signed a contract with them and we're working with them, you now need to exit the conversation. You can't keep pressing forward on that. You don't want to either. This is really about making sure that someone isn't using that objection to hop off the call because they're not really sure if they should be trusting you yet, or they've got like a friend's cousin who's a realtor that they're thinking of that's not really providing them any service. And if they said, well, you know what, like Adam's not really sending us any properties right now because we're just kind of casually looking, that might be the invitation to go, oh, that's great. I totally get that you're just casually looking and you don't really need anything sent. What are you looking for? And now I can just start the conversation over, try and provide value, move the needle forward. Remember, an objection is likely because there's a lack of trust, there's a lack of them understanding how you can provide value, or they feel like they might be sold. And our entire goal is actually to move them forward in gaining clarity, gaining information, and gaining confidence that we're gonna be that person that can be their trusted advisor. Time for my favorite objection. We're gonna switch from like these initial conversation starters to now you're sitting across the table from John and Sue and they're about to sell their house and they ask you the question of commission. Or better yet, they say to you, would you do it for less? And the reason I love this question so much is because I've gotten it quite a bit and I don't waver on it. So here's the way I answer this question is I go, John and Sue, that's a perfect question. And I'm really glad that you asked it because it's important to know the value that you're getting when you're paying a commission. Here's the thing though, what's the reason you would choose to hire a real estate agent? And now I'm gonna let them rattle off a couple things. They might even be shocked that I'm asking them a question back so quickly. So they're like, oh, like, what's the value? I'd be like, yeah, tell me, what is the deciding factor for why you guys are gonna choose to work with somebody? And I'm gonna let them repeat back to me all the reasons they wanna work with somebody. And then I'm gonna say, that's awesome. So it sounds like these are all the reasons you would choose to work with someone. And they say yes. And then I would say, you know what's really important that you mentioned in that list or that you didn't mention in that list, but it's a really important detail? The number 2 reasons you're hiring a real estate agent is because number 1, they're gonna market your property and let the whole world know that it's for sale and attract qualified buyers. You can agree with that, right, Mark and Sue? They go, yep. Number 2, and maybe the most important thing, is their ability to negotiate. Because at the end of the day, they're gonna be negotiating the sale of your home. Wouldn't you agree? And they're gonna say yes. And then I would say, John and Sue, would you agree that if I came in here and I just lowered my commission right away, that I'm probably not a very good negotiator? And now what they have to face is this idea that I'm gonna convey next, which is if I come in here and I immediately am willing to reduce my commission and I'm negotiating on behalf of myself, how are you gonna trust me to negotiate on behalf of you when this is probably one of your biggest, if not your biggest financial assets? And I have used this over and over again because it's true. I'm actually saying to someone, listen, you're hiring me to be a great negotiator. If I sit here and I just lower my commission right away, not only am I a bad negotiator, but it might even mean that I'm desperate to do a deal. And if I'm desperate to do a deal, are you sure you want to work with someone who needs you to sell your house and might even twist your arm to do it? And this is awesome because it totally handles the objection of like, I am trying to save money here or somewhere. And then the other thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reinforce why I provide more value for the commission that I'm charging. So if I'm charging 5% and another agent's willing to charge 4%, then the conversation that I would have at that point is, did you know that the average realtor sells homes for this amount? And then I'm gonna open up a slide that actually has a breakdown of here's all the houses that I've sold, here's the prices they were listed at, here's the sold prices. In my case, because I've tracked all this, I can show that I sell for 4.7% times higher than the average property that gets listed on the MLS. So that means even if you go with one of these average agents that's willing to reduce their commission, it's actually gonna end up charging you 3.7% more to go for a 1% discount. So you're gonna save 1%, but you're gonna lose the 3.7% of money that I'm gonna make you on top of what they would, which means on $1 million house, you're gonna step over $10,000 of savings to lose $37,000. You could have made $47,000, but now you're gonna make $10,000 more. Does that sound like that's worthwhile? Absolutely not. So it's important to stress that point. So yeah, they're gonna save money on the commission, but it's gonna cost them on the sale of their home. And showing people that you're looking to show them how you're actually adding them value helps reduce that level of them having uncertainty that your commission isn't worthwhile, and it'll help you handle that objection. If you enjoyed today's videos on handling objections, we're gonna have multiple parts to this. So I want you to drop a comment below of the objections that you find the most difficult so we can cover it in the next series. Hope you guys loved today's video. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Jake, Nicolle signing out. Cheers.